Hello and welcome. Today is Monday, the 18th day of September 2017. Welcome. My name is Derek. Let's go over a crypto trading video. Anything you do within this video is done within your own risk and own reward. And did I ever put a lot of risk into this baby? Code SMART SMART. I talked about this 8 days ago on the channel on September the 10th at around lunchtime, because I went on to CoinMarketCap and I noticed that this thing was pumping on a Chinese exchange. This was available to buy for under 200. In fact, it was the majority of this. This was me. I bought this entirely up to 200 right in here. So this volume is me. I didn't buy that much, and most of it was me. And even this move up here was me, because my figure was if it was going to 400 and it did it on major volume, then just maybe I can get myself a good gain. So I bought and I waited 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I know this thing being a very low overall volume code on exchanges that are very small, that it could take some time for it to catch up. I'm the early bird. But no, it didn't. And I noticed that the Chinese exchange had dropped down to 200, and I wasn't sure what to do with this in here. I'm thinking, well, even if it's a bad code, it's going to make some sort of pop. Well, let's use my mastery to try to do the best we can in getting it. Maybe it could still profit, and of course it did. So therefore, throughout the day today, the first thing was ensuring that I was able to get my buy back, and I did, and I still got a fair amount of tokens left, because when a lot of my buys were below 210, 220, I didn't buy too much, about 230, 240, and yeah, I was selling at 208 and 220 and 250. But now what's the strategy? Because the original plan was, even if it was going to pop up to like the 300-400, I told myself back in here, just sell it all. I mean, it's even if it goes higher, it's probably just going to be making a lower high anyway. But this volume, which is only 9 Bitcoins total, but it is significantly higher than in here. I also look at this and notice it's like a mineable coin. Around only 10% of them are mined. Whether it's legit or not, I don't know. But I also look at this price as the equivalency of like Bitcoin was at like $1 or $2 back in the day. I mean, very, very low volume, like this type of trading going on. That's what you would expect with those kinds of coins, meaning the profit potential could go 4 or 5 digits Satoshi. So as I stated before in the video, using strategies to make sure you never run out of shares, that's what I'm going to do with this, and try to day trade, swing trade this the rest of the way. So I took the risk and I've gotten some reward on it. Let's move on to the next code. Let's take a look at time on the daily time frame. And I look at these lines. Ever since this baby got underway back in March, over and over and over again. This is on the Bittrex exchange, and what does this signify? It signifies the amazing amount of day trades that are available on any given day. Just today, we can see that it went up to about 62 and it went down below 50. I haven't been trading any of this for a while. I'm actually just trying to do a little theme with the names of these codes that I do. But definitely something to put on the radar list for day trading capabilities. Let's shorten this baby out. And when we look at these pierces over and over again, I almost got to buy this right now and stick some sell orders in at 55 and 60. I don't know why I haven't done this yet. But when you look at the message of this market in here, I mean, these were decent moves where you could sell at like, say, 67 with easy opportunities to buy back at 61. That's 10%. 10% gain within the play. Now, once you bought back in here, there really wasn't much for opportunity. Maybe if you hit this, maybe. But if you're always playing for a decent move above the 18 average of highs to sell when you're in the 18 average, then that looks to be a pretty decent strategy. Realizing the time to buy is when you are in the 18 after you sold or when you enter a position from this point. So right now, you know what? Not a bad time to buy. Place some sell orders here. That's the type of strategy I'm looking for myself. And then if it goes down more, if you have your buy orders in ready, play the normal strategy. You're accumulating more tokens. And if you're doing this on a day-by-day basis, these are orders that maybe you're going to miss, but this one you shouldn't. Easy buyback. And then if you were right on the ball here with this baby, and you are very, very active, you had this period in which the sell order went up, came back down. So if you bought before the end of the close of this period, it happened again. 2 sell opportunities. And then boom, boom, again, 2 more opportunities. And in this case, with opportunities of getting over 20% gain, going from the 50 handle or below the 50 handle to above the 60. It's just interesting ideas as far as day trading. And you do this just by simply having sell orders in there and being alert for when they could sell. And the reason why for being alert, if you're not alert here, well, then you only got 1 sell order. And you know what? That's fine. You go to work, you do this, you do that, you put your order in here, you check your computer here, or right now you're like, oh, sell order in, that's $59.50, sweet, I can buy it back at $5034 now, sweet. And that's just part of the game as I look at it. Let's look at the next chart. To give, the number to give is the code. And speaking of those extreme volatile moves within the daily time frame, well, this baby definitely has good potential. Good. But we've seen moves in here. Whenever you have from this, whenever this in the 18 average, satisfactory move here, but not so much here. So if you're buying, obviously, between 120 and 140 in here, you're able to sell. I mean, it's okay gains in here, but you could even have sell orders in here that would miss. Any sell order here that wasn't near the high, but if you're selling, say, at 165, you're able to buy back at 135. I mean, that's a very good gain still, nonetheless. And again, we got price action in the middle here. Something that you could say, okay, maybe if you buy some here, I'll put a sell order here, probably one below the 200 number. Maybe even one again at, yeah, I would think 219, but you know what? I would just take it here, not put a sell order at 219, then maybe a sell order again at, say, 245, and maybe another one at 450, and then maybe another one at 25,000. And I'm not kidding when I say sell order at 25,000. You never know what's going to happen. And just think of it back in here when you're joking around. When you bought this thing at like 25 Satoshi, and you're like, yep, just go 200, 220, 250, 400. Well, you didn't get the 250, 400, but you got all the other ones. And if you were selling, say you had seller here, 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 and then a bunch of other places up top that didn't hit. Okay, 120 hit, 160 hit, 200 hit, and 240 hit. And then you come back and you see the price action is like below 60. Ka-ching. And if you do put sell orders in for 8 times, 10 times, 50 times, 100 times, 37,458 times higher than what the price is now, what's the difference is if they're there or just held in your balance doing nothing? Because you ask yourself the question, if the price were to get there, would you sell this many at that price? At that high price? Yeah. Okay. So that's why I put my sell orders in and buy orders in for that matter too, because if the price comes down here or here, you know what? Maybe I can speculate a bit and take a chance because markets go up, I sell, markets go down, I buy. Let's go on to the actual Bitcoin chart. And it's about that theme I said a few minutes ago. I've lost it. I use SMART first, and then I use the code TIME, and then I use the code to give. SMART time to give, and then I'm trying to finish the sentence with all the other cryptocurrencies, and I took about 5 minutes and I can't find anything. So I'm just going to talk about Bitcoin, maybe a couple other ones, make this about a 13 or 14 minute video. and then be on my way. I put this in log or linear chart before because of the last price. So let's put this in a logarithmic fashion now that I notice it's linear, as it looks so much better in the log scale here. Let's bring her up. There we go. Looks a lot more bullish that way, or at least the down move doesn't seem so harsh when you see it from this perspective. So continuation within this area, just because it's been up so nicely on extreme volume. This is the biggest I've seen this in a while. Well, biggest on this chart anyway. Lately, Bitcoin, when it comes up these points, have not been falling through. What I like about this 18 average is if you're in a situation like this, the story of a newly declining point, you go well below it, you have your correctionary move up to this point. If price action goes further lower, thus making a lower high and breaking below it, then that can give you some bearish sentiments towards the whole ordeal. Let's just take a look at some previous examples. And here it had a small move below it, but not quite. This was, of course, the failed move, fast move to the downside. This could even be that as well. But for me to give much of a conviction for failed move, fast move, I need to see this thing get above this 18 average of highs. It hasn't done that yet. Let's shorten out this time frame. And within such, this was a spot in here where it broke established resistance. So there is 2 legs higher from the bottom. And this, of course, being the second one, we got this 18 average here in a range of 3,900 right now, down to about 37 and change. It is rising. So as this thing moves on into the session on Tuesday, these numbers will increase within time. And an area where it came from, 3,800. So down to even about 37. But more closely, I'd be looking if there's going to be further retracement from this current red candle, then maybe 3,800 would be where you would have a more logical place of finding support, sort of like this 3,000 key area was as well. If you shorten this out, you can see direction for, does it look like it's actually going to happen? And on the 15-minute time frame, since this large run-up, there's this leg higher, which had 4 small legs up within it. And then after that, after this noticeable correction, there was another leg higher, 2 within its leg, this, and this correctionary phase. And then a huge straight up move with just very little correctionary movement. And then, of course, this correction, another decent size move. And then a much larger correctionary move, okay move, and another decent down move. So obviously the trend that was going on from the 6 o'clock time frame up to, well, after the next 6 o'clock time frame has come to an end. And you can say normally, and I say normally that is, when you have a move like this where you match the high, you had a 2 times. You come up here, back to the band, you do it again, and then kerplunk. That's most certainly not a bullish situation, but also we're looking at a time where you came from here to here with just moderate corrections along the way, that if it was to give back 38.2%, that's 38.50. And 3,700 would be giving back 61.8%, as I've already pre-calculated it already. But the whole point of it is stating that mathematically, or just historically and reasonably speaking, it's normal when you have a good run for at some point the market to give back a fraction of what it went back up before of course you continue within the bull market. This is close to 15 minutes, so I'm going to pass on doing other coins. And I was going to do a theme, but when I'm doing these videos, I want to give different ideas, different ways I look at the market. But even for that matter, especially for those whom are very much awesome traders themselves, just give people ideas of different codes they might not see. As an example was the case with that very smart play that I put myself into position for. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day.